Alright, we got an author without an author's page. They are called But Franklin. But written with the 2 T's, of course, so your butt, Franklin. They wrote Fauste Bank PLC. I do not know. Is PLC, what does PLC stand for? Let me look that up. What does PLC stand for? Can refer to a public limited company, a business type that sells shares to the public on a stock exchange. I see. Okay. So and Faust, it's written with the F-A-U-S-T-E. So in German, Faust without the E at the end would mean fist, but Faust, I'm pretty sure is like also isn't that a name of? Apparently not. But there is a Faust, is a protagonist for a classic German legend based on the historical Johann Georg Faust. Yeah, but it's not the same one. Okay, well let's just see what this is all about. Let's see. Okay, I'm already confused by the picture. Object class Euclid. All staff employed at ITCD Bank who are responsible for the creation and maintenance of SCP-2791. An example, all past and current members of the Extra Global Operation EO division of ITCD Bank PLC are free to exercise full discretion when interacting with SCP-2791. Foundation personnel are not to create, modify, remove, or otherwise affect components of the SCP-2791 system without express permission from Extra Global Operations staff. Authorized Foundation personnel are, however, to encourage Extra Global Operations staff to follow the mutually agreed terms of GARMAR. Okay. General Agreement on the Regulation and Maintenance of Reality 2015. See document A for full text. And we got a schematic representation of SCP-2791 network. Each vertex represents a unique entity, and vertices are joined by an edge if linked by at least one oath. I was about to say point, but it's an oath. That's okay. There's a lot happening here. As per GARMAR, Extra Global Operations staff are considered to be held in open advisory containment, retaining the permission right to move freely to and from their original location of discovery. Reward of the request of Extra Global Operations staff authorized 2014 6th 18th. In this location, the 24th floor of the building has been designated by SCP-2791 Advisory Containment Site. The other 44 floors of the building are to remain in normal use. As per GARMAR, the Foundation is to provide all services required for the functioning and comfort of the Extra Global Operations Division, including security, cleaning, staff, catering, and redacted. Task Force Stellar 8 Invisible Hand is to be stationed permanently at the advisory containment site with the mission objective of encouraging GARMAR compliance among Extra Global Operations staff. See document D for passive incentivization and encouragement guidelines. Task Force Stellar 8 is prohibited from using explicit or implicit force when advocating GARMAR compliance. Containment of SCP-2791 itself is nominal. Foundation policy regarding SCP-2791 is focused towards gradual de-escalation as outlined in GARMAR as the many oaths of the SCP-2791 system successfully reach the specified expiration dates. GARMAR prescribed that they are not to be renewed or replaced with new oaths, except except in specific name circumstances. GARMAR recommends against the addition of any new oaths to the SCP-2791 system. It is hoped that it will act to decrease the scale of the anomaly over the long term. And now we have the description. Oops, let me just get it perfectly like this. SCP-2791 is a network of anomalous processes created and maintained by the Extra Global Operation Division of the ITCD Bank PLC. Notable features of the network are summarized below. So first, SCP-2791 utilizes a wide variety of anomalous phenomena, with almost all major classes of continuous anomalous process featured. Classic deal-based anomalies such as pharmaceutical pact, blood magic contracts, and soul transactions are especially frequent, representing 86% of all SCP-2791 processes. For clarity of communication regarding such a high diversity of anomalies, SCP-2791 containment literature uses the general term OAF to refer to any anomalous process of any type within SCP-2791. Second, SCP-2791 involves frequent use of a specific type of anomalous entity in 98% of classic deal-based oaths and 21% of all other oaths. Entities belonging to a distinctive class of extra-dimensional reality benders are found acting as mediators or contracting parties. Entities of this class are channeled or summoned to this dimension using characteristic ritualistic procedures. Recurring elements of these rituals include chanted incantations, inscription of specific geometric patterns onto surfaces, use of flame, and sacrifice of biological organisms. Okay, and these possess a humanoid body plan and manifested, but often displays physical abnormalities and anatomical features from other mammalian species. Observed examples include exposed bone structure, whole body aplasia, cutis, missing skin layers, and polymia, multiple limbs. Okay, and mammalian species. Observed examples include ungulate, hoofed animal, cranial horns, and chiropteran bat-like wings. And this exhibit intelligence and human language ability. I think SCP-2791 is unique and complex. Okay, smart guy, then what is it about, eh? In your own words, not in Google or any AI words, in your own words. Entities exhibit I already read this. These entities invariably offer their services as reality benders when summoned, proposing to generate or mediate anomalous effects that benefit the summoner. Now we got summoners as well. God, Jesus. it goes all over the place. However, they will demand some form of variable personal cost in exchange. Observed costs include 4 of the summoner's fingers, complete destruction of all memories of the summoner's name, and the period of unspecified torment for the summoner in a time-dilated pocket dimension upon their natural death. Entities will act in a highly self-interested, deceptive manner when forming deals. For instance, they will often attempt to formulate the conditions of the deal such that the summoner does not fully appreciate the cost they have committed to. I know, maybe because I have MOBA on my head, but now all I can think of is like Sona from League of Legends and be like, only you can hear me, summoner. And I'm just like, is she like the secretary at the bank? Like. Third, the overall result of SCP-2791 is to provide ITCD Bank and its employees with a number of favorable outcomes, particularly in financial activities. It does sound like it's basically just doing a lot of bank stuff. It takes care of your investments, it looks at your stocks, it keeps you up, it informs you about like any rise and fall in anything, it seems. But it's also like magic based stuff. It's not just stocks around here. It's literally like, it could be anything. Each outcome is generated by a distinct subsystem of linked oaths within SCP-2791. Typically, the oath subsystem are constructed in a manner that mitigates any negative effects that would otherwise be incurred by the ultimate beneficiary. In the terminology of graph theory, these subsystems are overlapping subgraphs of the SCP-2791 multigraph. All SCP-2791 researchers and containment specialists above assistant level are expected to cultivate a good understanding of graph theory for primer. See Brooks-Williams graph theory for anomalous network containment in mathematical concept for foundation personnel. E.D. Agnerson, Helgi, Sci 14, Sable, Cage Press, 1995. If I would have a guess, I think SCP-279 has to do with reality bending and rituals. Rituals is definitely part of it. I'm not sure about reality bending yet. Fourth, SCP-2791 is large. At the most recent census, SCP-2791 comprised over 11 million individual oaths involving over 40,000 unique anomalous entities. Okay. Overview of GAMR, an executed summary of the general agreement on the regulation and maintenance of reality. Jesus. The pizza. 2015 version 21 is provided below. The full text of the agreement can be found at Document A. Amendments to the original 2010 version are highlighted. Show GAMR summary. So, that's not that thick. Number 1. In order to decrease the scale of the anomaly over the long term, the Foundation recommends in general that no new oaths are to be added to SCP-2791. Adding oaths may be justified in certain named circumstances, for instance, when necessary to prevent widespread loss of human life that would otherwise result from SCP-2791 effects, or if the addition of an oath will ultimately cause a decrease in total oath number. Number 2. EO, staff, all employees and board members of ITCD Bank are not to use SCP-2791 to bestow upon themselves or any other human any anomalous augmentations. Especially discouraged are anomalous biological augmentation, including but not limited to extended lifespan, increased physical strength or agility, improved sensory perception, ability to generate fire, all forms of telepathy or mind reading, ability to transform parts of the body into animal or plant, non-human anatomy, and enlargement or duplication of organs. Board members and employees of ITCD Bank currently possessing such are to cooperate with the Foundation in having anomalous augmentations removed. EO staff are strongly discouraged from using SCP-2791 to bestow any benefit, anomalous or otherwise, upon employees of the SCP Foundation, particularly those employees who are involved in the containment of SCP-2791. Mechanic was right, there's a lot of reality bending happening. Rituals and reality bending for sure. Number 3. Certain anomalous entities in the SCP-2791 network are consistently involved in oaths that the Foundation deems to be excessively hazardous in the maintenance of reality. EO staff are not to interact further with any SCP-2791 entity possessing a Foundation SS safety rating lower than BBB. EO staff are not to use acceptably rated entities as intermediate or conduits to facilitate oaths with unsuitably rated entities. EO staff are not to formulate combinations of unsuitably rated entities whose emergence properties mimic the behavior of acceptably rated entities. Thank you, Afro. Of course, I mean, listen. At the end, I was wrong, and that's not that hard to admit. You were right. Credit will be given where credit is due. Number 4. Oaths are not to generate persistent anomalous entities or phenomena in our home dimension. Oaths are not to further involve Foundation named SCP objects, including but not limited to SCP-738, SCP-1521, and SCP-1442. Number 5. Human beings, geographical places, and planets are not to be designated as collateral in any oath. Number 6. Oaths are not to alter the fundamental nature of reality, which is defined as including parameters such as the values of physical constants, the direction of time, the geometry and number of dimensions in spaces, the age of the universe, and the size of the universe. And then we can hide it again, if I'm not mistaken. But we shall keep it open just for the sake of it. Case study. The 11 million oaths in SCP-2791 are arranged into approximately 800,000 subgroups. In most cases, each subgroup can be thought of as a closed walk of oaths within the overall system, which is designed to produce a specific resultant benefit to ITCD Bank, and which operates independently of the other subgroups. Of the 800,000 subgroups in the SCP-2791 system, 104 have been classified by the Foundation. The complexity of each subgroup and of the overall SCP-2791 system renders understanding and containing the anomaly difficult. The subgraph of oaths designated 2791-126101 is one of the few that Foundation considers to be mostly understood. To provide insight into the structure of oath subgroups within SCP-2791, a description of -126101 is given below. Show -126101 case study. Okay. Number 1. First, the bank summons an entity named in extra global operations documentation as the Dreadlord. Wait. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. The Dreadlord. The bank enters into a standard blood magic contract with the entity. The terms of the contract state that the beneficiary forfeits 10 years of their life to the service of in exchange for a standard magical boon. In this case, a curse placed on a rival bloodline upon completion of the period of service to avoid the delay of 10 years before the boon is received, and also to avoid surrounding a member of the company to the service of the bank formulates the following system of oaths. So it's yeah. But sorry about my accent. I don't speak Hellish. I don't speak demon spawn yet. Number 2, the bank summons the spirit of Free Water Homes, a Bermuda-based housing association and wholly owned subsidiary of the bank, which had been empowered with limited thaumaturgical capabilities in a previous set of oaths. Free Water Homes acts as the supervising party in the creation of a spiritual paradimensional vessel, SPV, labeled here as Alpha. The bank extracts the soul of a homeless Bermudan woman and transfers the soul balance to Free Water Homes as payment for this operation. That's kind of fucked up. A homeless woman did not want this. Like, oh hey, there's a homeless woman. Let's just take her soul real quickly to make this contract happen. Like, what? Number 3, Spectral Walker K2, an extra-dimensional deity-like entity, Edel, capable of traveling between dimensions within the local brain clusters channeled from Dimensions 1A by Free Water Homes. Free Water Homes then arranges a fate pact between SPV Alpha and SWK2, causing SPV Alpha to tunnel instantaneously into Dimension 1A. We're going to look at the picture next to it after we read this whole thing. A bit messed up, a tiny bit. Number 4, SPV Alpha and SWK2 merge their essence to form a single SPV Beta. SPV Beta utilizes SWK2's ability to tunnel into Dimension 1B, assist the dimension of Dimension 1A, taking advantage of extempore low sacrificial tariffs required for travel between 6 dimensions. Notably, Dimension 1B is a metaphysical copy of Dimension 1A and is identical in ways to it except temporarily in that it operates exactly 10 years prior to the relative time frame of both Dimension 1A and Dimension 0. That's why, yeah, because it did say, so there's no delay of the 10 years happening. So they're creating a literal, they're creating a pocket dimension that's similar to the timeline that they're in, but 10 years already have passed, so that the contract can immediately happen. 5, SPV band then tunnels into Dimension O from Dimension 1B. Because of the different temporal frame of the origin dimension, SPVB enters Dimension 0 10 years in the past. Relative to the formation of the deal with SPVB separates into SWK2 and SPVA, and both entities remain in Dimension 0 for 10 years. 6. In the contract with there we go. The Dreadlord, the bank names SPVA as the beneficiary of the Blood Magic Oath. Both the original SPVA and the aged version of SPVA, labeled here as SPV8 plus the power of plus 10, are present in Dimension 0 when the contract is signed. Witnesses the 10 years of time weathering on SPVA plus A in the power of plus 10 compared to SPVA, which forces to deem the forfeit of 10 years of life as completed. Why this occurs is not yet understood. It is unclear how entities of the same class perceive reality in our home dimension. So, okay, is this like basically just a way to trick the Dreadlord by being like by having 10-year-old version of you come by and be like, oh look, 10 years of my life have you took 10 years of my life, I'm older now. And he's like, yeah, you're right. The 10 years of time weathering on compared to which forces to redeem a forfeit of 10 years of life as completed. That is so interesting. It's literally like a plot hole. The boon of the bloodline curse is granted, demanifests, and SWK2 consumes SPVA plus in the power of plus 10 as payment for services rendered. Interesting. So literally, I think it's literally a plot hole that is whoever the person is was like, let me just get a version of me that's 10 years older to make this contract happen immediately. I think that's what I think that's what's happening here. Dimension 0B, then splits SWK2A. Yep, and then 10 years present. Water homes, which creates the 1A dimension, which that's where. Holy shit. I think I understand. I think I understand what's happening there, but goddamn. History in 996, Prometheus. Oh god, we're going to talk about Prometheus. Prometheus Labs began constructing on a long-planned experimental facility called the Super Energetic Thaumaturgy Collector (STC). As intended to function was to generate and analyze powerful thaumaturgical events, with the ultimate goal of devising theoretical framework of physical laws to explain thaumaturgical phenomena. The facility was never completed due to redacted subsequent collapse of Prometheus Labs. While the formation of SB2791, ITCD Bank had for many years maintained an interest in anomalous phenomena under a small but functional department of physical concerns founded in 1897 by Peking branch manager and amateur occultist Edward Hillier. Increasingly regarded by the bank's director as an awkward historical relic, interest in physical concerns was renewed following the department's unexpected and profitable success in predicting the 1998 crash of the Russian ruble by tessography. Through intermediaries as Marshall Carlin Dark, actually I need to send a message afterwards. The 13 surviving members of the STC research team contacted the Department of Physical Concerns and secured employment there in June 1999. In early 2001, the newly revitalized department was expanded into its own division and renamed Extra Global Operations, accompanied by a shift in focus away from the passive study of anomalies to active exploitation. It's also around this time that experimental prototypes of that SB2791-like systems were first created utilizing thaumaturgical techniques originally developed at the STC. The Foundation was made aware of SB2791 in February 2010 when SB738-1 activated spontaneously and began composing documents at a rate of 20 pages per second. The documents then manifest upon completion, rendering study difficult. SB2738 initially refused to disclose the cause of its activation, referencing client confidentiality. After a deal for this information was authorized, SB738 then revealed that it had been remotely contacted by EO staff 3 months previously and had been in constant communication with them since to negotiate the terms of a complex multi-party contract were redacted. For details, see level 4 clearance required to access this document. And redacted says the Foundation was not able to prevent the deal's completion. Voluntary containment of EO staff at the advisory containment site was achieved in October 2010. Incident log. The incident log for SB2791 is given below. Show incident log. Okay. Wait, I think Howard did say something about this. Maybe? No, he did not. Never mind. And so we have date and incident. So we have 2010, 2nd, 17th, deal for redacted with SB738 authorized for cause of activation, alerting Foundation to the existence of SB2791. 2010, 2nd, 21st, correspondence begins with Extra Global Operations Department at ITCD Bank. Paul Ritter, Extra Global Operations Head of Regulatory Compliance, is designated the Foundation Liaison Officer by ITCD Bank and becomes Foundation's primary contact in EO. 2010, 10th, 1st, voluntary containment of EO department achieved. I will read what you wrote after I'm finished with all this. Mechanic, be right there. 2010, 12, 3rd, senior researcher. Okay, these are not actually clickable. Del Alvaro's first draft of Garmer put into effect. Error. No employee profile for this name can be found. The link may contain a spelling error or this person may no longer be current Foundation employee. 2011, 4th, 24th, initial census places SCP-2791 at 90,142 O's. 2011 7th 11th, SCP-2791 reaches 100,000 O's milestone. 2012 5th 26th junior researcher redacted. 2012 6th to 15 5 SCP-2791 containment personnel including senior researcher Del Alvaro redacted. Error no. Okay, that's the same thing as before. Interesting. 2013 1st 9th in response to incident 2791/2012 5th 26 and 2791/2012 6th 15th, our current and potential SCP-2791 containment personnel are to be assessed using the Global Non-Conscious Personality Test (GNPT). Requirement guidelines now consider any of the following GNPT values to be definite grounds for disqualification. Hedonism's metric greater than 57, materialist 3 metric greater than 61, loyal to F metric lower than 70, self-import metric greater than 73, ambitious complex total score greater than 401. 2014 6 13 SCP-2791 reaches 1 million of milestone, which is to only 3 years. God. That's pretty fast. Yeah. Okay, 3 years to get like 900,000 more oaths. 2014 6 15th. Paul Ritter steps down as extra global operation head of regulatory compliance and validation license officer, replaced by senior vice president Matt Del Alvaro again. He's back again. 2014 9th 22nd. Application to upgrade SCP-2791 from Euclid to Keller filed by senior researcher Recht, which is German for right. 2014's 9th 29th. Application rejected by site director Leroux. 2014. It's not realized I didn't ask something. Okay, no, she didn't answer. Okay. 2014 11th 3rd. P1 application to upgrade SCP-2791 from Euclid to Keller filed by junior assistant researcher Recht, and he was a senior researcher first, but now he's a junior assistant researcher. Unless that's like a younger sibling or a family member that just happens to be in the same. And senior researcher Dharamveer Singh, 2014 11th 4th. Application rejected by 056. 2015 6 19th. Major oath non-completion incident. Unexpected fluctuation in the price of Nigerian cornmeal results in ITC Bank being unable to fulfill the terms of oath to -2 Jesus Christ 2144925-17. Entire population of Bielefeld, Germany, which had been named as collateral in the deal, is subsequently consumed by mediating entity Balgov Jr. Okay, so there's some shit happening over here right now. 2016 2nd 26th, SCP-2791 reaches 5 million of milestone. That's only 2 years. Not even fully. A year and a half, honestly. And then like 10 months later, SCP-2791 reaches 10 million of milestone. The milestones are pretty big. Wow. They once they got running, they got a lot of people that wanted to get some oaths. SCP-7 creates a desk with 2 chairs. If someone is on a chair, will summon an invisible entity that will them to make a deal consistent and equal value. And yes, I wanted to explain it. I mean, yeah, that's actually good because it's been a hot minute since I read that one. And I remember that one really well because one of my college mates doing my film course actually made like a Devil's Deal desk short video, you know? This was before I started reading SCP. So when I read that one, I was like, oh, it's like that! So yeah, I remember that really. I remember that SCP really well. Or at least I remember that feeling when I read it. It was very fun to read. damn, and almost like think of like college. I'm like, oh my god, because at that point, it was 3 years when I graduated. So, and that short movie that was like one of the the first couple of months of college that we did. So it was like 2016 when that happened. Yeah, that was nice. Okay, I will have to quickly text somebody. We'll only take like an extra minute, but we shall continue with the next SPE right away.